Here's something that's been rendered obsolete in this day and age of smartphones everywhere, a digital voice recorder. This one happens to be manufactured by Evistr, if that's even how you pronounce it. I really don't know, but I actually had picked up a voice recorder of theirs many moons ago that had stereo recording capabilities. The audio quality was actually pretty impressive for what it was and what it cost. And I recently found myself needing to be able to record audio and not have to rely on something like a smartphone to do that. And you can see here it lists the manufacturer, or in this case manufacturer, as Dongguan Wista, however you say that, Electronics Co. Limited, brand Shenzhen Evistr Technology Co. And then what's funny is down here where it actually describes this recorder, they actually misspelled it as Evistr. Now some brief features of this Evistr digital voice recorder include one button quick high quality recording, voice actived, record dig in, built-in premium microphone, playback audio via built-in speaker, working as USB pen drive, rechargeable battery, low battery protection, and file named and timestamp from year to millisecond. I have no clue what this QR code on the back brings up, and I don't have the transparency app, nor am I going to download it. So there it is. They weren't kidding when they described this as a mini voice recorder. It's definitely quite small, although it's definitely in line with other digital voice recorders that I've seen while shopping around. You get the voice recorder itself, a fabric micro USB cable for charging and accessing the files on the internal memory, and some generic earphones that I'm sure hurt your ears and sound absolutely terrible. That's it. That is a pretty small voice recorder, actually. For comparison, this is just a regular gel pen here, and that'll give you a pretty good idea of just how small this is. Very easy to slip this into a pocket or something and record surreptitiously if the need arises. So this is the L157. It's got 16 gigabytes of internal memory, 5 volt at 500 milliamps, and then we have volume up and down, and then up and down control, I'm assuming, for navigating through the built-in file directory structure of the audio recordings. Headphone jack, USB, and power on and off switch. We've got a very small LCD screen, and then you record, stop, play, and menu buttons. So I'm wondering how you'd actually skip ahead in a recording without having to listen through the whole thing. Well, I don't have time to read the manual right now, so I'm just going to dive in head first and try turning this on. Okay, it says no voice recordings, and I don't think it's letting me get out of there, so I guess it just wants me to start recording. Okay, it says please wait, and what's interesting is this is actually showing a left and right VU meter display, digital VU meter, level meter. So I'm very curious to see if this is actually a stereo capable microphone and recorder. Alright, so I just stopped the recording, and it looks like it's showing us the last audio file. And I'm assuming if you start recording and you build up a large library of files on here, I'll just do this as a quick test. You press stop, looks like it says saved, and then you use this up and down. Yeah, see it says right here 01, 02. So that's how you cycle through the recordings on here. And then let's see what it does. So we can delete the file, and then I guess you have to use that to navigate through the menu system as well. Anybody want to take a guess as to which button we have to press to actually execute the command? I'm going to say record. Okay, I guess that wasn't it. Okay, so how do you actually... Oh, I bet you press menu again. Yep. Alright, so play mode is repeat or shuffle. So this is a very basic menu system. I don't even see any way to You probably press that. Okay, so you use the menu button to execute what you want to, like the function has an OK button, and then the back button is the stop button. And then let's see here, sound settings. Have an equalizer, so you can turn this on to rock, pop, soft, jazz, classical, and techno. And then you've got folder view, record settings, which is what I want to check out. Recording quality. Yep, so it gives you a couple options. So a 1536 kilobit wave file, 128 kilobit per second MP3, 64 kilobit per second MP3, and that's pretty much it. So I'll leave this on wave because that's really the only quality that I would record on. And then you can enable and disable the record LED, subsection record, I think that's what that says. I'm assuming this is going to function just like how a dash camera does, where it'll record 1 hour or 2 hour segments, and then as the memory gets filled up, it'll start deleting the older segments while retaining the most recent segments on here. And then voice activated record, so we've got that turned off currently, and then voice activated levels, level 1, 2, and 3, that has to do with the sensitivity. And then your record monitor, which didn't even know that this recorder had that functionality, but you can actually plug in your earphones to the headphone jack and listen to the audio as it's being recorded. Overall, it actually has a pretty decent feel to it and some weight, which I do like. And it's definitely plastic, but it doesn't feel very cheap and chintzy at all. This is the Evistr L157 digital voice recorder, currently recording in wave mode. So a lossless file, which I think this is actually recording in stereo because the level meter is showing. Alright, so I don't know if I was overdriving the microphone in that last test, or the speaker really is that terrible, but it was extremely distorted, sounded absolutely horrible, no matter what volume level I used. So I'll definitely have to play that back on the computer, and what I'll do is I'll sync up the audio from this to the video and give you a direct hookup of what it sounds like, as well as a few other direct audio tests using this. This is the Evistr L157 digital voice recorder, currently recording in wave mode. So a lossless file, which I think this is actually recording in stereo because the level meter is showing stereo activity. And this recorder is definitely incapable of recording in stereo, despite kind of giving you the idea that it's capable of doing so, since it does give you left and right view meters on the LCD screen. This is one of the audio files in Audacity, and aside from it being extremely overmodulated, you can see that both channels are identical. If I go ahead and play them right now, there's absolutely no stereo difference information whatsoever, even though it is actually recording 4800 Hertz 16-bit PCM stereo wave files. So I got my hopes up for nothing. This is nothing more than just a monaural audio recorder, a voice recorder, if you will. Okay, so this is a test of the Evistr digital audio recorder, and it's currently set to wave, lossless audio file. So this should also be in stereo, and if everything is working correctly, you should currently hear me out of your right channel, and now subsequently your left channel. And one thing that I must say I really do like about this recorder is the ability to pause recordings. That to me is worth its weight in gold. Not having to constantly stop a recording and then start a new one and then create a new file, and that's the big pain. Here's yet another test, this time set to record MP3 files at 128 kilobit per seconds. Okay, here's another recording. This is at 64 kilobits per second. So you get the most recording obviously on this quality setting, although it definitely affects the audio quality. One thing I've noticed is that it doesn't seem to have any automatic gain control, and because of that, the audio where I was talking pretty close to this, like a news reporter would, was very overmodulated. So now I'm talking quieter and I have it farther away from my mouth. I'll do a little demonstration here, typing on my IBM Model M. I gotta remember I can't talk too loud or I'll distort the microphone. And this should give you a pretty good idea of what the audio will sound like if you're using this recorder yourself. So here we go. Alright, so for anybody curious about the recording capacities of this recorder and the different quality settings, because I saw this question asked a lot on the Amazon page for this recorder, this is currently set to 128 kilobit per second MP3s, and you can see it's telling us that we have 292 hours of recording, 40 minutes for 64 kilobit per second. We have 585 hours, 19 minutes, and for the highest recording, a WAV file, 24 hours, 23 minutes. And for anyone who's truly interested in these sorts of things and nitty-gritty of the audio recording, 128 kilobit per second recording on the Evistr L157 records 128 kilobit per second stereo 2-channel audio file with a 32 kilohertz sampling rate. For whatever reason, I don't know why they just wouldn't leave that at 44.1, which is the standard. And then 64 kilobits per second records at 16 kilohertz. And if you do decide to go the high quality route and record PCM audio files with this recorder, it does record them at 1536 kilobit per second with 2 channels of audio, which is a waste because it's on monaural recorder and microphone. But for whatever reason, the sampling rate it uses is the DVD sampling rate of 48 kilohertz. So I don't know why it's just like a spin the wheel and whatever it lands on is what it records with. With the wave recording setting, it records 48 kilohertz files. 128 kilobit per second records at 32 kilohertz, and then 64 kilobits per second records at 16 kilohertz. Why didn't they decide to just stick with one sampling rate remains to be seen. Overall, this isn't a terrible recorder, although it really isn't the best there is. I'm noticing the more I play with it that it likes to lock up when I pause the recording, and then I have to press the stop button, because if I press resume or try to resume recording, it doesn't do anything. It just sits there and acts as if I haven't pressed any buttons. The menu system does work, although it definitely could use a bit of refinement. It's very basic and simple, and I really don't like the way there's no automatic gain control at all. You're pretty much forced to just record at a fixed level. I haven't been able to find any way to reduce the volume at which this records, and because of that, if you're recording loud audio, you're pretty much up a certain creek without a paddle, and it's going to be terribly distorted and overmodulated.